So I am actually about to head out to a comic store that I've never been to before. I think it's called Flying Colors out in Concord. It's about 40 minutes away. So I'm going to head over here, check this place out. I've actually heard really wonderful things about it. And I want to say that I've actually met the owner before at a local Comic-Con. But I've never been to the shop and I have no clue what to expect. So we're going to head over here and hopefully be able to see a couple of cool books. And as best I can, I will also film it for you guys as well. So GPS told me it was going to take about 43 minutes or so to get to this comic shop. So I actually left a little early because I wanted to arrive as the shop opened. I don't know what happened. I made it in about 23 minutes. So I am actually incredibly early for the shop to open. Decided to hit up a Pete's and get a cup of coffee. So I'm sitting here drinking coffee, waiting for the shop to open. I don't know if you guys remember that commercial back in the day. It might have been like a Mervyn's commercial or something like that. And it was a woman that was at a shop, store. And she was standing out front and she kept saying, open, 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 open. That's exactly how I feel right now. So I am finishing up here at the comic shop in Concord. It was actually a decent shop. They had a healthy number of back issues on the wall and also in bins. So I picked up a couple of filler books that I'll show you guys in just a few moments. My experience in the shop wasn't the greatest. Not the most friendly people working in the shop. And then there was also a lack of transparency with how they determine grades and pricing. That didn't just sit well with me. You know, I'm a big fan of asking questions and understanding, you know, what grade the shop has assigned to a book. And then I can evaluate that grade and that price myself and determine whether it makes sense for me to buy the book or not. And I was basically told that they don't grade books, which is not accurate because you do grade the book. And basically what I was told was that the owner decides with his, experience as to what the price of the book is. And then you as the buyer have to decide whether that price is fair or not, which is fine. But if you're determining a price, you are basing that on a grade. And so my thing is be transparent about that grade so that someone can make a truly informed decision. So that didn't sit well with me, but nevertheless, I did buy some books, picked up a couple that I'll show you guys at the end of the video. So definitely stay tuned for that. So I am back in the comic book room and I am ready to show you guys the books that I picked up earlier today. Before I do that, I want to revisit some of the comments that I made earlier after leaving the shop. I was just a little frustrated with the lack of transparency that was being expressed by the guys that were working at the comic shop. When I asked what the grade was on the book, they basically told me that they never grade their books. They don't do that. And that just wasn't 100% accurate. You absolutely grade your books. There is no way that you could assign a price to a comic without having some idea as to the condition of that book and thus the value. And so their first answer to me just wasn't that honest. And so I had to probe a little bit deeper to get them to admit that yes, they do in fact grade the book and they use that grade to assign a value. They were just unwilling to tell me what that grade was. And I found that to be a little frustrating. That's not to say that I won't go back to that shop again. I just found that lack of transparency a little troubling because if you guys have watched my hunting videos, when I go to a shop, that's just part of my process. I want them to take the book out of the poly bag just because I think it's safer for the shop owner or whoever is working the shop to actually take the book out. I then want to examine the condition of the book. And then I want to have a discussion around how did you arrive at this price? And it's not for me for the purpose of negotiation. It's more about just understanding where someone's head is around the price. And then it gives me the ability to evaluate whether the purchase that I'm considering making, whether it makes sense based upon their estimation of the grade and the value, my estimation of the grade, and then what I see in Go Collect, for example. And so it was just a little frustrating because one of the pieces that I've come to expect from shops just wasn't there. And again, I'm going to go back to that shop. I'm going to probably do business with them, but it just didn't sit well with me in the moment. So I just wanted to better explain that so that you guys could understand a little bit better where I'm coming from. Because when I went back and watched the footage, I just wasn't sure if it was clear or not. So hopefully this is a little bit clearer. So I did pick up a couple of books. I actually picked up 4 books. You guys know that I'm on this mission to get ASM. So you know that there's some Amazing Spider-Man in this stack. But I'm going to show you the one book that isn't an Amazing Spider-Man comic. And it's actually, I think, a really cool book. I actually saw it in someone else's video just recently. And when I saw it today, I took some time. I looked at that book probably 4 times before even asking for it to be taken off the shelf, because I wanted to seriously consider whether I wanted to get this book. And indeed I did, because it's here in the room. This is one of the earliest X-Men books that I actually have in my collection. X-Men is important for me, and I will collect a lot of the early X-Men books. I just haven't made it a focus just yet. So this first book is X-Men number 39. It is a really nice copy of X-Men 39. It is a really nice book. I'm telling you, these black covers, you guys know, are notorious. This one is in great shape. There's a little bit of something going up here at the top of the book, and one of the staples is bent. But other than that, this book is in solid shape. And as I mentioned, I open the books up, I go through them. And again, the damage that I'm noting here is the extent of it. It is a gorgeous book. And as I always do, I have a label on this one using the Key Collector app. This book is significant because it is the origin of Cyclops. I am actually in the middle of reading this book right now on Marvel Unlimited, so I'm excited to finish it. But this is the origin of Cyclops, and it is also the first time that we see the X-Men in their new costumes. So I am pumped to have this book. It is a classic early X-Men cover. Pumped about this one. And smiling like an idiot because I'm looking forward to reading this book tonight. So that was the one book that I picked up that was not a Spider-Man book. The next book that I picked up is Amazing Spider-Man 183, and this is a newsstand, and this book is significant because it is where Mary Jane Watson actually turns Peter Parker down for, I guess he had proposed to her. She basically said, no thanks. I haven't read this issue, but I'm looking forward to reading it and watching probably a heartbroken Peter Parker. So this is a really cool book. This book is in great shape. I was pleased to have found this one. And this was in the inexpensive bin at the shop. So I was definitely pleased to pick this one up for just a couple of bucks. The next book that I picked up is Amazing Spider-Man 185. This book, newsstand, has no significance either, except for the fact that I believe that this is where Peter actually graduates. So that's pretty cool. But a gorgeous yellow cover. You guys know I am a sucker for a yellow cover, and this is definitely a pretty nice one. The next book and the last book that I picked up is another black cover. This is Amazing Spider-Man 188. This is the second appearance of Jigsaw. A really nice copy of this book. I dig these black covers, and they are so hard to find in good shape. And today I was pleased to have found 2 of them. I came close to walking away with a third, but as you guys know, Mylar can be a little deceptive. And so there was a Molten Man first appearance on the shelf that I was very interested in. And after staring at it for a while, I asked for it to be taken off the wall. And as soon as it came out of the Mylar, all of its flaws were displayed. And the book was just so badly damaged. It was probably a 2 to maybe a 2.5. And the price wasn't bad, but the shape it was bad. And I've seen several copies of that first appearance of Molten Man recently for fair prices. And so I'm probably going to swing back to one of those other shops and actually pick it up. As I mentioned to you guys, I've gotten a lot better at passing on books. One of the things that I've realized is, especially in my area, maybe not in all areas of the country, but there is always another copy of that book just around the corner. And I'm not, there are exceptions, of course, right? But when we're talking about Amazing Spider-Man, by and large, these books are pretty plentiful. And so today, I'm very pleased that I was able to walk away from that copy because I also had the assurance that I know I can go find several other copies of that exact same book in better shape at a fair price within a 40-minute drive from my house. And so I'll probably feature that book in a future video. Fingers crossed, I will feature that. So anyway, there you have it. That is my haul for today. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. As always, if you need to reach me, feel free to reach out at Regie Collects on Instagram. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, I definitely want to encourage you to do so that you can stay abreast of all the content that I release on a weekly basis. Take care.